James says, Coach, what strategy did you backtest first in your rookie days? How far ago do you count as rookie days? Like rookie first started trading, or like when I first started getting on like the right path? I have about 4 restarts in my trading career, I like to say. So I hit the reset button probably about 4 times. So we're talking about like the last time before it all got good, or like one of the other times in the middle. I was bad. Bad boy. Bad bunny. Bad bunny. But yeah, which let me know which rookie days you're talking about. I like Bad Bunny. Mia. All right. So the first time that when I got on the right track, the first I tested Gartley's. Yeah, it was Gartley's. Then it was Bats, and then it was only going to be Gartley's and Bats. I had tested CTS before that, but I still had struggles with CTS. So I tested CTS prior, but I had troubles with discipline, and that's why I kind of made the decision to go back. I had back tested CTS, good, positive results, but I was the issue. I couldn't execute it because there was a lot of subjectivity, and I was not disciplined, and I would make mistakes. I would kind of create what I wanted to create because I wanted to trade all the time. But I did Gartley's Bats, and I was gonna stay with Gartley's and Bats, and then Darren told me about this dumb pattern in the cipher, and basically I had to do it because we were teaching and introducing it to our clients at the time. So ciphers was the third thing, and then they ended up being amazing. So I did pattern formations first, and then I revisited my CTS and structure trading. And basically revisiting wasn't a full back test because that work was already done. It was just kind of getting back into the groove and becoming familiar with it again, since it had been probably about a year and a half since I stopped doing it. But yeah, one at a time. My philosophy was simple. It was, you focus on one thing, put all your energy into one thing, focus on that. If it works, you have something that you can make money with. Because pattern formations don't form all too frequently, you'll have plenty of time to backtest something else while you're making money with the first thing. Right? Very similar to my real estate philosophy for you guys who know that, right? You buy a property, right? I'm a fan of rentals, right? Because it gives kind of consistent to a degree revenue stream, right? You buy a property, it's making you money, again, assuming you can rent it out, you don't have too many problems with it. But you buy a property, ideally it makes you money. While that property is making you money, you start working on the next property. Now you have 2 properties that are making you money. You have property managers and whatnot managing it for you, so it's just printing money for you on the side. And then you start working on your next one, right? And then when you have 3 properties, that's making you more money, you start working on the next one, right? Trading was the same way. Backtest Gartley's, start trading Gartley's. While Gartley's are making money, plenty of time to backtest the next thing, finish backtesting the next thing. Now you have 2 strategies that work. Now you have 2 things to trade, so you have 2 things that are making your money. Now you can start testing the third thing. Now you have 3 things that you can trade, 3 things that are making you money. Now you can start testing the 4th thing, and you continuously kind of, to a point, obviously, add or do your work while the other things are already making you money. So that's kind of my investment philosophy in general, right? Don't waste your time researching 80 things at once and spending three years researching 80 things and never actually doing anything, right? Research one thing in a quarter of the time, have it make you money, and then start your next project while you're making some money, right? Why waste the time when you could be making money while you're doing work at the same time? So that's my philosophy. L says, just a question, Coach. I'm backtesting patterns on various pairs, but what do I do? But what What I do is first Gartley, then bat, then Cipher, then go into the next pair, and do it all over again simply because I like to see how they perform as a portfolio. Am I doing it wrong then? I would never say you're doing it wrong. I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. My preferred way, personally, is to do one at a time. I think it's a lot easier, especially if you're just learning. Now, if you're very familiar with all three, then it's a different story. But for a trader that's just learning them, I think it's difficult to do all three at the same time because now you're not really, if you're learning one thing, it's easier to learn one thing at a time than learn three things at a time. So if you're a newer trader, now you're confusing yourself with three different things and you're not really building that RAS, right? Your reticular activating system, that's the main point of backtesting. Aside from getting your stats and seeing that it worked, it's building your recognition skills, being comfortable with identifying the pattern or whatever it is that you're trading and finding it in the market. And that's why you'll see a lot of you guys that go into backtesting too early. You'll often backtest and you'll shoot me an email like, Akil, I did 10 years, I only found one pattern, right? And then you'll backtest again, you'll do the same 10 years and you'll find like 100 patterns. Well, why? Because you got better at recognizing it. They were there the whole time. You just couldn't pick them out. So by focusing on a single thing, it allows you to invest more energy on that thing. It allows you to become better at that skill at once instead of focusing on three different skills. Again, think about it like, any sport, right? If your coach is trying to teach you three things at once, it's a little bit difficult. I do this with my track and field athletes, right? We do a lot of technique work, and I often have the upperclassmen try to coach the younger ones. And the upperclassmen, they're not used to coaching, so they point out a million things that are going wrong. Hey, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing that, you're doing that, you're doing that, and then the athlete just blanks out because they're like, well, what you told me one thing, and now they're thinking about all three things, and they have trouble doing it. So I always say focus on one thing. Like, look, just tell them, look, let's work on fixing your arms. And then you focus on that one thing, they fix their arms, and then you can move on to the next thing. So I'm always a big fan of doing one at a time. I would say if you're very familiar with patterns, like if you have developed your RAS, if you know how to pick them out, then that's fine because you're already knowledgeable about how to find them. But if you're newer to a strategy and you're still kind of working on finding them, you still find it maybe slightly difficult, I wouldn't make your life more confusing by doing three at a time. I would just focus on one. And again, right, the whole point is, right, if you can, let me ask you this, right? So if you're testing three patterns on each pair, right? How long does it take you to complete one pair, would you say? The backtesting spreadsheet is going to be under the backtesting and money trade plan development and money management section of the site. I think money management section. Yeah. If you go to where we talk about position sizing and money management, it'll be under that part. But how long does it take you to test one pair on average? 30 to 34 hours to do one pair with all three patterns. No. How long does it take you to do all three patterns on a single pair? So 3 patterns, 1 pair. How long would it take you? And we'll take our break soon, guys. I'm sorry, we're running a little bit late here. But when we get deep into the convo, we get deep into the convo. Okay, so can we just say let's say 2 days. 2 days. 2 days to do 2 days for 1 pair. All right. How many pairs do you plan on testing? All of the pairs. 20, 15. There's no wrong or right answer. Just curious so I can make the example work. I chop mine in 3 or 4 hours per day. It takes me roughly a week or so. How many pairs do you think? Just an idea. All of the pairs, 20 pairs, 25, at least 20. At least 20. Okay. So if it takes 2 days to do 1 pair, right? Are we comfortable saying it's going to take 40 days, right? 40 days to complete the back testing on all 20 pairs? Does that make sense? Okay. So here's a question for you, right? So 40 days. You go through all your pairs, you go through all 3 of your patterns in 40 days, which I think is pretty good, right? Now, we're not saying that you want to rush into trading by any means, but if it takes you 2 days to test one pair with three patterns, right? Just by pure math, right? Maybe it takes you 1 day. Let's say 1 day, probably even less than that, but let's just say 1 day to test a single pair and a single strategy, right? That means that you can get through that entire portfolio in
connection lost.
20 days. My internet just went out. Hopefully I'm still here. Okay. Anyway, hopefully you guys see the screen. The point is, if you can, you can probably go through one pair in 20 days or less. So what this means is what? You've given yourself 20 extra days. And again, it's probably a little bit more, but we'll just, make the math easy. You're giving yourself 20 extra days to actually start trading something live and make money off of it. Does that make sense? So not only does it benefit, I guess, you're building your RAS, but you can actually get started quicker. Now, I'm not again, for you guys that are newer and listening, I'm not saying that the goal is to get trading as quick as possible, but let's assume that you're in the position where you're ready, right? You're in a position where you're ready to trade. Once you're in a position you're ready to trade, then you want to get started as quick as possible. And yeah, we're getting close to that pound dollar. We'll check that right before the break, and then we'll leave. So yeah, I'm a big fan of one pair at a time. One pair, one strategy at a time. But again, it's not a say all be all. It doesn't. You don't have to do it that way. All right. Let's Robot Apocalypse. We also generally start going faster with our backtesting once we have built our RAS. It used to take me 45 minutes a line now. Now it takes me 20 minutes due to my my SS is looking very long. Yeah. That's a very good point as well. Once the more, let me bring over this decipher for you guys. Hold on, so you guys can actually see it here. Yeah, the more you build your RAS, the easier it is for you to identify these patterns. They start popping out for you more. So again, I think it would actually take even less time than 20 days. It's probably more like 15. But yeah, I if I'm ready to trade, my goal is I want to start trading right away. So the faster I can complete my back testing, and assuming I'm ready, and by faster I'm doing it the right way. But if I can buy myself 20 extra days of trading, that's probably maybe a few trading opportunities I wouldn't have been able to catch before. So I'd rather do that. Yeah, coach, I thought about it. I get more peace of mind if I already know how they perform. I thought about it. I get more peace of mind if I already know how they perform together as a portfolio. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Andrew says, hey, Andrew, I'm deep into my new system, so back testing is now just continual at the moment. All right. So, any questions before we take our first break? Were we supposed to be doing something? Aussie dollar. We'll do that when we return. we got off track here with euro pound.